for today's review, it's kind of a different sort of thing. It's not the latest and greatest tactical pistol out on the market. It's kind of going more 80s, early 90s old school. And if you're wondering why the Spanish flag, and well, that's kind of because of the Spanish gun here. It's the Astra A100 and 45 ACP. And why review a Spanish gun on this channel? All I can say is take the first half of this channel's name, Google it, you'll figure it out pretty quick. Anyway, I digress. Specifics on the gun were kind of hard to come by. It's no longer manufactured in this configuration, but it is just kind of one of those curios in my collection that I wanted to share with you. So anyway, here we go. The unloaded weight is around 35 ounces. The overall length is 7.9 inches, and the barrel length is 3.35 inches. Now, that's a lot of weight for such a small gun. Here, I'll hold it up here so you guys can get a better look at this guy. As you can see, it bears a striking resemblance to Sig Sauer. The controls are exactly like a Sig Sauer's controls. We'll get into that in a minute. But what attracted me to this pistol, I bought it, I believe, somewhere around 1994-ish. And at that time, I hadn't got my law enforcement career going. I didn't get my first job until 95. So money was limited. I loved SIGs. I was of partial Spanish descent, and I came across this gun. I think the price at that time was somewhere around the 250-ish, 265-ish range. It was a 45. I love 45 auto. I still do love the 45 ACP cartridge. And it had that little extra thing of, being a Spanish-made gun. So that's why I picked it up. And the gun itself, that 35 ounces becomes really obvious as soon as you pick this gun up. Especially now that we're all used to polymer-framed handguns, or at least aluminum-framed handguns like a SIG P226. This is a steel-framed gun, kids. It's heavy. And as you can see, it's quite small. If it was a full-size service gun, it would be even heavier. The upside to that is that, I was kind of playing around with the gun today before taking it to the range and getting ready for the review. And I kind of noticed, there's something to be said for heft. Heft isn't always bad. The gun feels great in hand. The ergos are very SIG-like, although maybe a little narrower than a 226 or a 229, 228. But very reminiscent of a SIG, very comfortable. The controls are exactly where you would expect them to be on a Sig Sauer. As you can see, if the hammer's in the cock position, you hit this button or this lever for the decocker. There's the slide release. European gun, but thankfully the mag release is in the correct position for us U.S. shooters, which at the time this gun came out, that wasn't always the case. A lot of European guns of older vintage have a mag release on the bottom of the gun here. The gun has a capacity of 9+1, and the gun only came with one what appears to be a Mech-Gar magazine, and as we all know, those of us in the gun obsessive hobby know that Mech-Gar makes great mags, or at least most of us think so. Interestingly, it has like the Mech-Gar logo here, and then it's stamped Astra caliber 45. As far as reviewing some of the other stuff, it's just going to basically be my opinions and my thoughts. I don't really have a lot of technical information because it's kind of hard to come by on this gun. A couple of years, well, about 3 or 4 years ago, I thought, maybe I should get a couple spare mags for it. I looked them up. They were difficult to find, and I found one standard retailer that had new magazines, and they made Sig magazines look cheap. So since this is just a curiosity piece, it's nothing I'm going to be everyday carrying because of the weight and limited capacity and other things that I'll talk about in a minute. It's just, you know, it's just a gun from Dad's mother country. A variation of this was in use by the Spanish military. I don't know if it is still currently. As I said, this particular model in this caliber, this configuration, is no longer made. And you know, even if you check, EAA was the importer at that time. If you take a look, you know, you can find some similar guns on Gunbroker, but a lot of them have that more Sig Sauer-y kind of trapezoidal lockup for the breech here. And this is like a smooth, rolled over kind of thing. The sights, you can tell a sign of the time. Night sights were not as prevalent, so it's just 3-dot white, which, you know, hey, for the most part, they work just fine. Trigger pull, as most double action, single action pistols, you know, as you know, you got to pull that long, heavy double action pull. The gun will fire, and then every other pull after that will be a short single action pull. Now, the double action pull, it's relatively smooth, but it is stacky, meaning it's fairly light at the beginning, then you feel the tension build more and more, and it stacks unevenly till the break. So that requires you to fire, you know, if you want to fire your first shot accurately, you have to get, you know, a really good grip on the gun, and you have to maintain, you know, be constantly reestablishing that proper sight alignment throughout the trigger pull. Now the single action pull, you'll find a, you know, relatively standard for the day kind of reset, maybe 1/3 of an inch travel, and it's a kind of a wimpy reset. And then the single action pull is a little bit disappointing by today's standards. It's light, but there's like two distinct little creepy crunchy parts to the pull, and then it has a mushy soft break. So it ain't a target pistol. It wasn't designed to be. It was designed to be a service pistol. As far as reliability, when I first purchased the gun, the first 200 rounds or so I put through it, I had a couple of stoppages on the first range trip, like one stoppage on a subsequent range trip. And now I'd say the rounds count on this gun is not, it's not going to be like on my Glock 17, which has more mileage than a 15-year-old F-150 pickup. That Glock 17 gets beat to hell. It's not going to have that kind of rounds count on it. This gun probably has a rounds count under 1,000, but over 500. And that's kind of low given the fact that it's been in my collection since 1994. But, you know, it is what it is. It was never really a favorite of mine at the range. The accuracy is acceptable, but not excellent. It kind of doesn't always pass the credit card test, meaning, you know, put a credit card sized target out to 10 yards. Can it, you know, put all the rounds into that credit card if you take your time and do your part? Sometimes it can, sometimes it can't. Depends on the ammo. Standard range ammo, it's kind of hard to do that with. And this is not the kind of thing you want to feed premium ammo all the time. Like I said, it's just something interesting that I wanted in my collection. That was very small collection at that time. And, you know, basically this was my gift to myself for completing the Criminal Justice Institute, which is the police academy here in South Florida, specifically the Palm Beach one, and passing the state exam. So this was my gift to me for doing those two things. And, you know, it's just one of those things that, you know, it doesn't have a really high resale value. It is reasonably reliable, reasonably accurate. You can hit what you're aiming at. The first shot is going to kind of suck. All the others are okay. Limited mag capacity of 9 rounds. But, you know, it's a fairly compact package. But the problem with that compact package is it's a 35-ounce compact package, which is it's a hefty compact package. So I'm going to just roll in a very brief couple of rounds at the range thing at the end of the video. So anyway, oh, before I go, I've just been terrible, and I apologize. Let me go through the field strip real quick, and then we'll take you to the range real fast. Gonna want to lock the slide open, and you know it's very SIG-like in its takedown. You just press the takedown lever, release the slide. Everything comes. Oop! Don't want to get the Spanish flag all dirty. And then the gun comes apart, as you would expect. Yeah, no surprises inside. So anyway, let's take you guys out to the range, let you see this thing crank out a couple of rounds. And thanks for stopping by to take a look at this unusual and kind of fun firearm. And we'll see you in the next video. Take care.